You're watching 6 Stories at 6. I am Tanisha Avasthi. Let's quickly take you across the 6 agenda stories that we will be talking about in this edition. First up, there was violence, provocation and chaos that erupted in 4 states. And remember, these on days when the country is celebrating Gudi Padwa, Navratri and Eid. The question is, was this premeditated? Also on the show, the Waqf agenda of the opposition seems to have completely failed. The Ajmer Dargah and Catholic bishop have now come out to support the centre's Waqf amendment bill. In Hyderabad, University of Hyderabad students were detained over protest against Telangana government's land auction plan. The BJP is now calling this the high-handedness of the Congress party. Meanwhile, Tesla CEO Elon Musk was heckled during a speech. He fires back and his response is something that you should not miss. Also on the show, we'll tell you about Mohammed Yunus's bizarre sales pitch to the Chinese and to Pakistan as well. And all of this he's doing is to target India. And finally, in Nepal, the pro-monarchy protests are gathering pace. The country remains on the edge and Republic is on ground zero. We'll get you live updates from ground zero as well as our last story. But first up, we start with our top story that we are focusing on this edition. While Eid-Ul-Fitr is being celebrated today, multiple incidents of violence came to light from at least 4 states in the country. We will get you 4 insights into 4 different cases of violence, sloganeering and clashes. Now, the first incident is from Maharashtra's Mumbai, where in Malad, 2 groups clashed during the Kalash Yatra. Hindu boys aged around 13 to 14 years, they are minors. They were beaten brazenly by a Muslim mob. On the other hand, in Darbhanga, stones were pelted on devotees returning from Durga temple. The tensions quickly changed into a stampede, injuring multiple people. Meanwhile, in both Saharanpur and Bhopal, pro-Palestine placards and flags were raised by a Muslim mob. Viewers, the question is not just that of communal violence, but also on who is instigating this, who is trying to fan the communal fire.
Suspected Muslim mobs unleashed a deadly spiral of violence into separate incidents in 2 states. Frame by frame in viral clips, the mobs were seen engaging in scuffles with people taking out a procession while also subjecting peaceful devotees to stone pelting. In dramatic visuals, a mob was seen laying into people who had taken out a Kalash Yatra in Maharashtra's Malad on the occasion of Gudi Padwa on Saturday. In a separate incident in Bihar's Darbhanga, suspected stone pelters targeted devotees who were on their way back home after visiting a local Durga temple. Meanwhile, in flagrant violations of India's territorial sovereignty, Palestinian flags were raised at an Eidgah in UP's Saharanpur during the Eid prayers. A similar incident unfolded in Bhopal, after which Muslims were pictured holding up a pro-Palestinian banner while marching to an Eidgah for Eid prayers. Amid the shock and the horror over the unprovoked attacks and the brazen demonstration of loyalty and support for a foreign country, there is pressure on the authorities to single out the accused and bring them to book.
Ladies and gentlemen, the massively contended anti-WAQF bill has now gathered pace. Now, the centre is mulling on bringing this into the parliament very soon. However, it is a big failure of the opposition as well, as the attempt to propagate an anti-WAQF agenda has failed. Now, this was after Ajmer Dargah and Catholic bishop have given their support to centre's Waqf amendment bill that the centre will be tabling in the parliament soon. Rijiju, Jagdambika Pal and Rajiv Chandrasekhar have taken on the opposition. Here's how.
This is a very important statement, and the request letter sent by the Kerala Catholic Bishops' Council is extremely important for everybody. अजमेर शरीफ के इमाम हो, दरगाह में जो भी हेड है या मुस्लिम संगठन के जितने भी बाकी लोग भी मुझसे मिले हैं, सब लोग वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल का समर्थन कर रहे हैं, वो वेलकम कर रहे हैं इसका। ये तो कुछ लोग हैं, मैंने पहले लोकसभा में कहा ना कि मुसलमानों में बहुत चंद लोग हैं जो वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी को कब्जा करके रखा हुआ है, वही लोग विरोध कर रहे हैं।
कानून तो अभी सदन में आया नहीं, अमेंडेड कानून आ जाए तब गुमराह करें कि हमारी मस्जिद ले ली जाएगी। जब संसदीय कार्य मंत्री किरण रिजिजू जी ने कह दिया कि हम कोई मस्जिद नहीं लेंगे, कब्रिस्तान नहीं लेंगे, सरकार क्यों लेगी? फिर भी वो इस तरह का वो हो ओवैसी कि साहब हमारे मस्जिदों पे हमला है, हमारे ऊपर गोली है, ईमान।
The opposition, meanwhile, has gone all out against the anti-WAQF bill, saying that this is the bill which divides the community and targets one specific community. Listen into what Akhilesh has to say.
वक्फ बिल जो आ रहा है, ज़्यादातर देश के दल उसके खिलाफ हैं। बड़े पैमाने पर राजनीतिक दल इसकी खिलाफत करेंगे। समाजवादी पार्टी भी इस बिल के विरोध करती है। सदन में जब आएगा इसका विरोध होगा। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के जितने भी अभी तक के फैसले हुए हैं, जो संविधान बदलने के या इस तरह के जो बड़े फैसले लिए हैं, उससे जनता को लाभ नहीं पहुंचा है।
क्या सरकार को नजर नहीं आ रहा कि देश के अंदर 99.9% मुसलमान इसकी मुखालफत कर रहा है? क्या सरकार को नजर नहीं आ रहा कि देश का सारा विपक्ष इसके खिलाफ खड़ा है? कि एक क्रिश्चियन और एक मुसलमान आदमी खड़ा करके आप ये साबित करना चाहते हैं कि वक्फ का कानून जो आप ला रहे हैं वो सही है?
ये बड़ा ताज्जुब हो रहा है। केरल कैथोलिक काउंसिल वो कह रहे हैं और मैं उस पर प्रतिक्रिया दे रहा हूं। मैं समझ नहीं रहा हूं कि कोशिश क्या हो रही है। हंगामा खड़ा करो, इधर उधर से बयान लो, लोगों को बताओ। किसान आंदोलन के दौरान उससे पूर्व फार्म लॉज में भी हमने कहा था, हड़बड़ी मत करिए, विचार करिए, लगातार संवाद करिए। माने नहीं ना।
Joining me on the broadcast is Mufti Shamoon Kazmi. He is the chairman of the Uttarakhand Madrasa Board. Mufti Shamoon, बहुत-बहुत शुक्रिया आपका हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए। आपसे ये पूछना चाहूंगी मैं, जो ऑपोजिशन है वो ये बोल रहा है कि जो वक्फ बिल लाया जाएगा, वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल जो लाया जाएगा पार्लियामेंट में, वो एंटी मुस्लिम है। यहाँ तक कि आज जो अजमेर दरगाह के चिश्ती है, उन्होंने भी अपना सपोर्ट जताया है वक्फ बिल को, ये कहते हुए कि ये कोई भी कम्युनिटी के खिलाफ नहीं है। आपका क्या कहना है इस बारे में?
मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि दरअसल 60 साला जो दौर है कांग्रेस का, उसमें इन लोगों ने जितने ये संगठन आज विरोध कर रहे हैं, इन्होंने उनकी मीडिएटिंग चिप की है और कांग्रेस के सपोर्टर रहे। और कांग्रेस ने वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी को बर्बाद किया। जिन पर हॉस्पिटल बनने चाहिए थे गरीबों के लिए, जिन पर स्कूल और कॉलेज बनने चाहिए थे, जिन गरीबों के लिए वो प्रॉपर्टी वक्फ की गई थी, उनके लिए कोई कल्याण का काम नहीं हुआ है। आज अगर सरकार ने इसका संज्ञान लिया है, और मैं सरकार के बारे में, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के बारे में कहना चाहता हूं कि वो किसी राजघराने से उनकी कोई बैकग्राउंड नहीं मिलती है, बल्कि एक आम साधारण घर से निकल कर के आए, तो साधारण इंसान की वो के दर्द को भी समझते हैं, और वो ये भी समझते हैं कि 60 साल में मुसलमानों को वोट बैंक बना के रखा है, हम उनका कल्याण कैसे कर सकते हैं। आज उनके नेतृत्व के अंदर जिस तरह से प्रोग्रेस तमाम पूरा देश कर रहा है और मुसलमानों की प्रोग्रेस भी आगे बढ़ रही है, तो मैं ये समझता हूं कि मैं उत्तराखंड राज्य की अगर बात करूं तो हमारे यहाँ माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी जी, हम उनके नेतृत्व के अंदर मदरसों के अंदर हमने पहली बार एनसीईआरटी को लागू करके सिर्फ वो अब तक धार्मिक एजुकेशन पढ़ाते थे, ताकि वो अपने पैरों पे खड़े हों और वो इन जैसे जो ठेकेदार हैं तथाकथित इनका वो शिकार ना हो। तो मैं आज सरकार से और आज सरकार के माननीय जो केंद्रीय मंत्री जी के मैं बात से सहमत हूं, और जगदम्बिका पाल जी ने जो कहा है कि भाई अभी तो वो पार्लियामेंट के अंदर आया भी नहीं है, और रिजिजू जी ये कह रहे हैं, बार बार कह रहे हैं, वो स्वयं माइनॉरिटी से आते हैं, उन्होंने ये कहा है कि इस बिल के अंदर कोई भी ऐसा प्रावधान नहीं है जो मुसलमानों के खिलाफ हो, बल्कि उनका कल्याण होगा और वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी का संरक्षण होगा। और प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी वो एक ऐसे व्यक्ति हैं कि जो देश के लिए जीते हैं। तो मैं देश के मुसलमानों से कहना चाहता हूं, ना तो आपकी किसी मस्जिद को पर कोई नुकसान होगा, ना कोई कब्रिस्तान आपसे छीना जाएगा, ना कोई किसी प्रैक्टिस पर कोई भी आपका प्रतिबंध नहीं होगा। हम लोकतांत्रिक प्रणाली में रहते हैं, संविधान के तहत हमारा देश चल रहा है। हमारे उत्तराखंड के अंदर माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी जी यूसीसी लेके आए। मैं ये भी कहना चाहता हूं कि यूसीसी के ऊपर जो मुसलमानों को गुमराह किया जा रहा है उसका कोई भी प्रावधान इस्लाम या मुसलमानों से नहीं टकराता है, बल्कि वो तो निरंकुश यानी उसके ऊपर अंकुश लगाता है। जो कुप्रथाएं थी, जैसे 3 तलाक है, ये इस्लाम का हिस्सा नहीं है, हलाला ये इस्लाम का हिस्सा नहीं है, ऐसे जितने प्रावधान उसके अंदर हैं। तो मैं आज ये कहना चाहता हूं आपके माध्यम से, रिपब्लिक के माध्यम से, कि मुसलमानों को भ्रमित होने की जरूरत नहीं है। वो सरकार के ऊपर विश्वास करें। सरकार की तमाम योजनाएं बगैर किसी भेदभाव के सबके कल्याण के लिए हैं। आप निवेदन करना चाहता हूं मुसलमानों से कि जो वक्फ बोर्डों में अब तक चेयरमैन रहे हैं वो तो अमीर हो गए गरीब से, वो तो फकीर से अमीर बन गए, और जिन गरीबों के लिए वक्फ की गई थी वो संपत्ति 60 साल में ये जवाब दें कि आपने 60 साल के अंदर उन गरीब मुसलमानों को
मुफ्ती जी बिल्कुल जैसा कि आप कह रहे थे, हम चाहते हैं कि आपके जैसे और लोग सामने आए और जो एजेंडा है जो ये कह रहा है कि जो वक्फ बिल है वो मुसलमानों के अगेंस्ट है, उसके बारे में और बात करें और बताएं कि ये जो वक्फ बिल है वो मुसलमानों के अगेंस्ट नहीं है, इट्स फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री। थैंक यू वेरी मच काजी जी फॉर जॉइनिंग अस ऑन द ब्रॉडकास्ट। वी मूव on to the other stories that we're tracking. Now, in protests that erupted at the University of Hyderabad as students rallied against the Telangana government's pitch to auction 400 acres of land near the campus for an IT park, the demonstration triggered by the arrival of bulldozers led to the detention of 53 students who were later released. Now, protesting students climbed onto the machines, raised slogans against the police and demanded an immediate halt to the clearing operations. The state government, however, defended its decision, stating that the land allocated and Kancha Gachibowli was intended for IT sector development and had no ties to the university. Joining me on the broadcast is Rachna Reddy. She is a BJP spokesperson. Rachna, Revant Reddy government in the assembly, remember, had said that anybody who speaks against the government is ready to go all out against them. In the past as well, we have seen videos where a journalist who reported against the Congress government has been arrested. Now, this incident has come to light where students who were protesting against the Revant Reddy government's decision of allocating a specific land have been detained. 53 of them have been detained. How do you see this?
Good evening, ma'am. This is absolute impunity of the government in Telangana, the Congress-led government in Telangana that reaches platitudes in other states but indulges in absolute fascist impunity in Telangana, because this is an extension of that same form. Here, the issue is not so much about who the land belongs to, because according to my information, the University of Hyderabad, the administration of the Hyderabad Central University has actually written to the Telangana government several times, and most recently as well, to alienate its land. To alienate its land in the sense to single out the parcel of land that belongs exclusively to the Hyderabad Central University. Having not done that, Kancha Gachibowli area has been tried to have been alienated by several successive governments over the last 15 years but have been unsuccessful. Here is the reason, ma'am. It is a completely wooded forest. It is a forest that has not been designated as a forest. Having said that, there is research and there is serious intellectual research as well as articles published by various researchers and professors and scholars and environmentalists that the said area, that the said Kancha Gachibowli wooded forest area has several endangered flora and fauna. Hence, the Wildlife Protection Act kicks in, the environmental clearance kicks in, and probably even the forest clearance kicks in. And hence, it is behooving that the government of Telangana absolutely stop felling of trees and take environmental clearance, forest clearance, and if required, the wildlife clearance, if any, the permissions as required from the Ministry of Environment and Forests. Without doing that, the government had the audacity, claiming that that is government land, the government has the audacity to simply auction off the land to private players. And I hear that since last night, at least about 1,000 trees have been felled. And this is a completely protected conservation zone. It's a habitat zone.
Chalana. Right, absolutely, Rachna. Thank you very much for speaking to Republic and joining us on the broadcast. We move on to the other stories that we are tracking. Now, the long-standing tussle between George Soros and Elon Musk lay bare as Tesla founder Elon Musk. Now, while addressing a rally ahead of Wisconsin Supreme Court election, was interrupted by a protester, to which he admitted that he wasn't surprised and claimed the disruption was caused by operatives planted by his rival. When heckled during his town hall address at the speech, now Musk soon smiled and quipped, saying, "Hi to George for me." Now, this also means that George Soros, he was addressing this to George Soros. Now, earlier this month, Donald Trump backed Musk's theory that Soros was behind the increasing spate of attacks on Tesla and his showrooms since Musk became a part of the United States President core team. Watch this video on how Elon Musk replies to the hecklers.
Yeah, it's really wild. So, I mean, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George. Say hi to George for me. USA, 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 USA. Yep. I mean, it was inevitable. Yeah, it's really wild. So, I mean, it was inevitable that at least a few Soros operatives would be in the audience. Give my regards to George. Say hi to George for me. USA, 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 USA. Yep. I mean, it was inevitable.
Moving on to the other stories that we're tracking, Bangladesh's interim government leader Mohammad Yunus is under fire. This time he has made his alliances towards Pakistan and China very visible, while also taking a sharp jibe at India's northeastern regions and essentially targeting them. Forgetting the struggles of its liberation, Bangladesh's Yunus regime has called upon the Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif to visit Bangladesh. A meeting that is scheduled to take place between the two delegates of the two countries on nearly the first week of April. Now remember, while this is happening, it is Yunus who has taken the Sharjeel Imam way. Now, in fact, Yunus was also caught begging from Pakistan and China for more money, trying to make a fair case in front of Beijing to blackmail India. Listen to this.
7 states of India, eastern part of India, called Seven Sisters. They are landlocked region of India. They have no way to reach out to the ocean. We are the only guardian of the ocean for all this region. So this opens up a huge possibility. So this could be an extension of the Chinese economy, build things, produce things, market things, bring things to Nepal, China, bring it out to the whole rest of the world.
Joining on the broadcast is Salahuddin Chaudhry, who is the editor of Blitz in Bangladesh. Salahuddin, what is essentially Yunus trying to do there? He's trying to target India, and he's trying to do this by taking the help of the Chinese and the Pakistan as well, essentially going all out, begging for money. Do you think Bangladesh is going the Pakistan way?
Thank you very much. You see, Yunus has turned a prosperous Bangladesh into almost a bankrupt nation. And Yunus is, as you correctly said, he has been backing Pakistan, China. Now, this particular remark that he claims that the ocean, he is the guardian of the ocean. When he says ocean, he means Bay of Bengal, not Bay of Bengal. He means Indian Ocean. So Yunus has been a mercenary of the Maldives state. Now Yunus has also become a mercenary of China. And with China, he is conspiring something very serious. And Yunus is now a very serious threat to the region, to India indeed, to the region and the world, and he is advancing his monstrous agenda, targeting India and other nations just for the sake of his own benefit, because he is an illegitimate so-called leader of a jihadist regime, but actually he doesn't have any public support, nothing. But at the age of 84, he is aspiring to remain in power for 10 years. So this is crazy. This man has gone mad. He's completely insane. He is a criminal, a corrupt person, and now he wants to completely destroy Bangladesh by selling out the country to China or whoever. He is just a mercenary, and he is not only a threat to the region and India, he is a threat to Bangladesh.
Right. Salahuddin, thank you very much for speaking to Republic and joining us on the broadcast. We move on to the other stories that we're tracking, and this one is from Nepal, where major protests continue to erupt in Nepal, where pro-monarchy agitators clashed with the authorities for the third day in a row today. Now, just yesterday, the pro-monarchy protesters reached their pinnacle with at least 3 people being killed and 45 injured, with over 100 others that were arrested. Now, yesterday's protest urging for the reinstatement of the erstwhile King Gyanendra Shah quickly turned violent as a sea of protesters clashed with the state authorities. Now, today's protest demanded the release of those arrested for violence. This comes as Nepal government has given ultimatum to the clarion call of bringing the monarchy back. Now, they are mounting pressure and building the case to arrest the former king. His passport has already been snatched away and keeping him under travel restrictions. However, these protests are not just for the demand of reinstating of the king, but also over the accumulated anger over graft, the constitution and the incompetency of the current government. Joining me live on the broadcast is Sagar, who is reporting live from Kathmandu. Sagar, what is the situation currently at Kathmandu? Today we saw there were pro-government protests that were taking place in a counter to the pro-monarchy protests. What is the situation on ground like right now?
तनीषा, बिल्कुल देखिए, आज हम बात करें तो राष्ट्रशाही की तरफ से दोनों पार्टियों की तरफ से आज के दिन प्रदर्शन हमने देखा। लगातार ये प्रदर्शन नेपाल में अब देखिए लगातार अब दिखाई दे रहा है, लेकिन आज का जो प्रदर्शन था पूरे नेपाल की यहाँ पर जनता आज इकट्ठी हुई, जो ओली के समर्थन में यहाँ पर लोग सड़कों पर आए। लोगों का कहना है कि राष्ट्रशाही को आगे नहीं बढ़ने दिया जाएगा, ये संकेत है, ये हमारी ताकत है, और आज इन्होंने आज यहाँ पर देखिए ताकत का संदेश भी अपने दिया है। व्हाट इज योर मैसेज फॉर राष्ट्रशाही प्रोटेस्टर फ्रॉम टुडेज प्रोटेस्ट?
Actually, the message to the monarchy, we have that we are living in a democratic country now, and they have the right to stand on the election as the candidate if they want to lead the country. This is the clear message that we are going to give. And in this democracy, if they come by the election method or by the method of the democracy, we will be gladly welcoming them. If they think they can overrule the country or the government and just take the governments in their hands, it is not impossible. We'll get back our hands on them.
Tanisha, if you ask any question with him, then ask him directly, because one would be...
Sagar, what I wanted to know from the person who's joined you is, what is your response to those people who are saying that the current government in Nepal is corrupt and that there are graft charges against your government?
Actually, when we say about corruption, it's not just about the government. We must know this fact that the government is ruled by the bureaucrats, and it is then ruled by the political leaders. Actually, after 2008, we are on a democratic republic country, Nepal. We have entered a new era of this revolution, and from this, we have only passed to 17 or 18 years. It has been not more than 20 years, not even 2 decades that we are on this federal parliamentary system. And while we say that there is corruption, yeah, we can say the development figures that people wanted in this country are not equal to they have got. But it is not everything has ruined by the corruption. It is absolutely wrong. And while we say that Yeah, and we need to say that people may be corrupt and they must be charged by the government institutions like CIA and other home ministers. They can just investigate on the people's.
तनीषा, बिल्कुल जिस तरह से लगभग 17 सालों का जो आरोप लगातार लगाया जा रहा है ओली सरकार पर, चाहे भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर, गरीबी को लेकर, भूखमरी को लेकर, ओली सरकार के समर्थक लगातार ये कह रहे हैं कहीं से भी ऐसे हालात यहाँ पर नहीं है, सब कुछ बेहतर है। और यही आज यहाँ पर इन्होंने संकेत दिया कि इनकी ताकत क्या है और इसी तरह से सड़कों पर रहेंगे। तनीषा,
सागर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। Remains to be seen on what turn does the pro-monarchy protest in Nepal take. Viewers, that's all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We will be back same time tomorrow. Stay tuned. Coming up next after the break is Live and Breaking.